All right, let's talk about something that's running in the background of every single move you make, every second of the day. It's your center of gravity. Now, I know it's a term we've all heard, but what does it actually mean for how you feel and how you move? Well, we're about to dive in. You ever have one of those days where you just feel a little wobbly, a little unsteady on your feet? Maybe you catch yourself tensing up and you don't even know why? And you know what everyone says, right? Stand up straight. But what if I told you the real secret to solid balance has less to do with being rigid and more to do with understanding a little bit of physics?
Yeah, it all really boils down to some surprisingly simple physics. To get a handle on how we manage to stay upright against the never-ending pull of gravity, we just need to get clear on two key ideas that are always in play.
Okay, so first up, we have the center of gravity, or COG for short. You can think of this as the one single point where all your body's mass is perfectly balanced. Now, if you're just standing there, it's usually hanging out deep inside your pelvis. But here's the kicker. It almost never stays put.
The other piece of this puzzle is your base of support, or BOS. This is super simple. It's just the area on the ground that you're connected to. So right now, it's the space around and between your feet. And obviously, the wider your feet are, the bigger and more stable that base is.
And that brings us to the absolute golden rule of staying on your feet. Your center of gravity has to stay over your base of support. The very second it drifts outside that area, your brain has a split-second choice to make. Either you take a step to catch yourself and create a new base, or you fall. That's it. It's really that simple. Okay, and this quote right here, this is where our whole perspective needs to shift. We tend to think of our center of gravity as just a fixed spot in our body, but that's not the full story. The truth is, your body doesn't just have one, it actively, constantly manages it. Your nervous system is basically a supercomputer, making thousands of tiny muscular adjustments every single second, without you even thinking about it, just to keep you stable. It's this nonstop active process. So try thinking of it this way. Your center of gravity isn't a static place, it's a dynamic behavior. So if it's a behavior, that means we can have different strategies. And most of us tend to lean one of two ways. We organize ourselves around either a higher center of gravity or a lower one. Let's break down what that actually looks like.
Having a higher COG is kind of like trying to balance a heavy backpack sitting way up high on your shoulders. You're a bit top-heavy, less stable, and your muscles have to work way harder just to keep you from swaying. On the flip side, a lower COG is like a sumo wrestler. You're grounded, you're stable, and you can move much more efficiently with a lot less effort.
You know, a whole bunch of things can push our COG higher. Being tall, carrying a heavy backpack, or even just a common postural habit like letting your ribs flare out. All of these things raise your body's balance point, and that forces your nervous system to work overtime just to keep you from toppling over.
And then there's the other side. A lower center of gravity is all about power and being grounded. Just picture the wide stance of a martial artist or a surfer crouching on a wave. That strategy creates this incredible sense of stability that literally starts from the ground up.
Okay, so let's get this idea moving. Because, like we said, your center of gravity is pretty much never, ever static. The instant you decide to move, it starts this constant dynamic dance. I mean, just look. You raise your arms over your head and boom, your center of gravity lifts up with them. You bend forward to pick something up and it shifts forward too. Every single thing you do is this negotiation between where your mass is and where your feet are. Just think about walking. Your COG is constantly swaying side to side, landing over each foot. When you run, it lifts higher and gets projected forward. Oh, and here's a good one. Try to stand up from a chair without leaning forward first. You can't. You have to shift your center of gravity forward over your feet before you can stand. It's that fundamental. So all of this really challenges that old rigid idea of a single correct posture, doesn't it? It invites us to start asking a much better, much more intelligent question. And this leads us to what I think is a huge shift in perspective. Posture isn't just a shape you're supposed to hold. It's an intelligent, adaptive solution your body has come up with to manage gravity and feel safe in the world. And that strategy, it is deeply personal. It's shaped by old injuries, by how tired you are, your emotional state, how you've trained. All of these things come together to create your body's unique answer to the simple problem of staying upright. So maybe we can stop judging our posture as good or bad. It's just not a very useful way to think about it. Instead, we can get curious. We can ask a much more powerful question.
how am I managing my center of gravity right now? And that simple shift in focus, that little bit of curiosity, opens the door to smarter, more adaptable, and way more resilient movement for the rest of your life.